happening, everybody, and welcome back to the True Gamer Podcast, the podcast hosted by two gamers for you, the true gamers. And one of us has been to LA and the other one didn't get to come. I'm one of your hosts, Eddie, along with my bro, the inverted gamer himself, Ships. Bro, how you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing good. You totally stole thunder from my bit.
Oh, did I?
My bit was going to be, you know, like, oh, what have you been up to this week sort of thing for me, go to my bit, and then you...
Should we do it again?
Let's cut.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome to True Gamer Podcast, hosted by...
You just use the same intro and then cut this in, yeah.
My bro, Sheps, how's it going?
Yeah, it's going good. How's your week? Well, I know nothing special really going on this week.
Not really, no.
No news really per se. Burning Shores. That's probably the big thing right now.
Exactly. Yeah. That's about it, yeah. That's how it goes.
But it's stole my thunder. It's not going to work because I couldn't be like, what did you do? Never mind.
I did nothing.
Let's talk about the DLC.
Funny because the DLC is also set in LA. Oh, and I haven't played it yet, actually.
Do you know what? I've been so busy this week. Legit, I've done zip for gaming. I haven't done anything.
Well, I have done a little bit of gaming in LA. Bro, how are you doing? Tell everyone, because everyone's really here to listen to you, really.
It's true.
That's what they're really looking forward to. They were like, after this break, one person went away to another country and came back. They want to hear how you're doing.
I mean, everybody's been really happy with my streaming.
Yes.
I'm doing lots of that. Like every day, 5-hour streams minimum. 8 hours average.
Are they sleep streams?
I have been so freaking... I've actually got the video up. Here, look. I've got the video.
You wouldn't be able to do sleep streams.
No. I've got your tutorial. You actually went and found me an OBS tutorial.
Still in the tab.
I just haven't had the time. Like, it's been such a busy week for me. I'm sort of like finishing work 5:30, get home like 6:37.
Yeah.
If I sit down, I'm done. And I'm not going to stand to stream, which means I'm done because I have to sit. And I've been intending to, like, come in, I'm like, right, I'll get my laptop up, get everything set up, open the laptop, get the video ready, sit down, go to turn the PC on and go, and then just... So I'm really sorry. I really do want to stream.
And then pull out the Vaseline and then continue from there. Exactly.
So, sorry. And I wish I could blame it on you, but, like, by the way, ironic that I like blaming it on you. I put my streams on you, and you delivered.
The one, because usually I'm the one that lays that also like lags behind as well. But the one time I delivered, you can't even say that. You can't say anything about it.
So yeah, and then no gaming. Burning Shores is out.
Yeah.
Annoyingly, everybody hates Aloy now, but for the wrong reasons.
Do you know what? That's one of the topics that we're going to talk about, but we could talk about it a little bit. We'll talk about actually a little bit later, but that is the dumbest reason in the world.
The dumbest thing. Also, it's actually kind of obvious.
Right.
Almost. In fact, my only beef about the whole thing is that, again, writing. They could have laid the ground for this a little bit better. Yeah,
well, the thing is, I thought that, I'm going to get into this again later, but just to touch on it, I thought the idea was going to be that they didn't want to give her any sort of romance, just to give her the heroic lead, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, I mean, it humanizes her. Humans like romances. Whatever, no problem. Go with what are you going to go with?
Yeah, I think
and they didn't set it up.
Romances make sense. You're doing all these like world level events with all these tight group of people. Makes sense that something would blossom there. But okay, if she's good, you're just gonna focus on the saving the world, which kind of makes sense.
It's a big thing, you know. It takes up a lot of your time.
We don't want to put too much stress or strain on Aloy. Like, look, maybe she has performance anxiety. She can't get it up.
Possibly, you know? Yeah, exactly.
I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Like the girls are the same as us, right?
Off camera, I'm taking off my socks. You can't see it, but I'm taking them off because it's really hot.
Yeah, well, that's how he's making all of his money. There's OnlyFans streams down there.
There's another stream down there. You get to listen to a gaming podcast with toes.
But yeah, I mean, I think the writing could have been set up a bit better if they were going to do that.
Do you know what? I'm not going to say render my verdict yet, although, like you said, we haven't heard anything up until this point. I want to play the DLC. I'm sure I'm going to love it, but I want to play it before I say anything. I'm gonna
do the exact opposite. You know what you were gonna do with Cyberpunk? No matter what, just say it was the best. Mm-hmm. This is a stupid complaint. This is the dumbest complaint I've ever seen.
This is the thing, because you know the simple people who are like, when they heard your first impressions of like Horizon, immediately they're like, sexism. It must be sexism. Nothing else it can be.
Right.
your argument has been rock solid, consistent,
the
whole way through about exactly what the issue is, and it doesn't fit in the category of sexism. So they're like,
she's a woman.
They're like,
yeah,
I don't know how to be angry anymore. It's like I'm trying to be angry, but it doesn't.
Yeah, it's like well, it's got to be one of the isms or the ists, and it's like,
or
Ellie's like one of my favorite characters ever.
You're ruining them. You're ruining them. They can't do it anymore. Anyway. Enough about that.
Yeah. How's your week been, man?
Man, my week has been alright. It's been alright. No,
Like
do you know what?
5, 6 out of 10?
About a 6 out of 10. No, genuinely, this has been one of my favorite weeks ever in my entire life. Like, I've had bad times. Like, we've all had bad times in like stretches in our lives and whatnot. Something happened in this where everything went absolutely perfectly, and every day just built up to be better and better and better.
That's really frustrating for me to hear.
Well, don't worry. I'm sure it'll come crashing down soon. Because this is the True Gamer podcast, I'll give you the gaming related stuff and whatnot. I did go to LA. I won a trip with EA Respawn. They flew me out to California to EA Studios, to Respawn Studios, and I got to play Jedi Survivor for like 6 hours. It was what was scheduled before the game came out, like a week before it came out. It was fantastic. I ended up only playing like...
spoilers.
Oh, sorry.
What if it sucks with all these like 9s and 10s across the board?
What exactly the reviews are at. What I played was fantastic, and I've already played like 2 or 3 hours from the copy that I've got already. What I played was fantastic. However, it ended up being 2 hours of playing the game and doing something really cool in it, which I won't say for spoiler reasons. And the devs getting behind me like cheering and clapping, which was a fucking great moment. And then the rest of the 4 hours was eating lunch and then talking to all of the developers and meeting.
That's probably
Stig.
even better because you're going to spend all this time playing the game.
This is the weird thing. So when I was there, us three were just like, we want to talk to you guys. Yeah. You guys are the rock stars in this situation. We want to know how you made the game, tell us the funny stories. And they're trying to get us to play the game. They're like, go and play the game because they want to see their art appreciated. And we're like, we're going to play this in a week's time.
I'm going to play the shit out of this.
Exactly.
Don't you worry.
So we played a couple of hours. We're like, this is fantastic. Really, though, I want to talk to you about the performance capture. I really want to talk about the direction. How long did it take? Because we spoke to the senior animator. I was like, how long did it take for you to do all of the animations, then to like split the lightsabers in half, to pull out the second one to make... And he was like, oh, it was really hard and all this sort of stuff. Like, that's what we want to hear. Yeah. And it was just like 4 hours of just a gamer's wet dream, being able to talk to the people who make games. And they're all so lovely, such great people. They're all just true gamers at heart, and they're just making video games. It was the best situation ever.
I have to say, the one sort of saving grace for EA, everything they've done Star Wars related, so it was them with DICE for Battlefront 2 and Respawn with this, just so true to the IP.
It's been great.
And I don't know if that's EA's stuff or if it, if there's a decision up there, but that is a connection. Whoever's making the decisions when it comes to handling this IP is picking all of the right people.
Well, do you know, when I was there and I was speaking to Stig, I can't say his last name. Stig?
You should definitely try it.
Asmussen, I can't say his last name, but he's the director for this game, director for the last game, and director for God of War 3 as well. Yeah. So it was fucking great meeting him. And I showed him my Kratos Master Jedi pictures. Yeah. He was like, that's great, that's perfectly me, because it was like, thank you, I love you. Anyway, when we was talking, he was like, Vince Zampella, he pretty much does all the fighting for us. And we tell him like what ideas we've got and what we're going to do, what our vision is. And then he goes to EA and fights for us, and he gets everything done for us. And I was like,
good guy, Vince.
Fuck him. Hats off to Vince then. I mean, he seems to have a lot on his plate because he's like managing like 3 studios now for EA.
It's kind of crazy.
Right? But I mean, if he's got the creative enough mind to see that this is the right thing to do, and then just gets EA to shut the fuck up and do the right thing, then that's cool. Yeah. That he's done his part. That's good enough. And yeah, it was really awesome. The whole day was great. I've never tried In-N-Out Burger, and they got In-N-Out Burger to try. I like that a lot. The chips were cold, so I was like, but the burger was fantastic. Met a ton of the QA team, met a ton of the animators team, telling me stories about the performance capture, how they've got this one woman that does most of the lightsaber twirling and like jumps and stuff like that. and so much of the stuff, and showed like videos, so much of the stuff that she can do almost defies what people can do.
Yeah.
You see it in a video, like they're like, okay, you're gonna do this twirl thing like that. Can you do that? It's like, I've got one better for you. And then they go and look at the computer screen where they see all the dots, and they just see just a mash of things.
We're
And
gonna
they're like,
need you to tone it down
"What?"
because
the cameras can't make that shit up.
it's one of those things where it's like that Ratchet and Clank with the reflections, where actually the reflections worked so well, they were like, it just doesn't look right in a video game. We have to make it wrong, or your brain can't process it.
It'll throw you off all the time.
Right. I could imagine them being like, weird that you said that. I saw on Reddit a GIF. It does connect, I swear. And this guy was like, I was trained by a professional pickpocket to play a pickpocket in a movie.
Right.
And this is the we couldn't use one of the clips because my pickpocketing was so clean. The camera didn't pick it up, so we had to go with an uglier version of it. Here they are side by side, and it was true. Like the one he did was so good. I watched it 5 times and couldn't see it, and I knew what was happening because directly below it, perfectly synced, was the exact same pick, whatever you call it, the exact same thing.
Move, yeah.
So I knew where he was going. I knew what to look for. Couldn't find it 5 times in a row.
It's like, my hand is going to go into his upper right hand breast pocket.
He picked something out of the guy's like man purse thing, and it was insane. But my point is, like, there are people that can do stuff where you're like, that won't work in the game.
Yeah.
Because despite the fact that we can make anything happen in the game, that won't look believable.
That looks unrealistic.
Yeah.
It was such a cool time chatting to them. That was the highlight of the whole trip. And when we got there, we were picked up from our hotel, the 3 winners that won the saber hunt. A guy in Australia called Idan, guy in LA called Marvin, and myself. We were picked up from our hotel in an M1 Abrams tank that it just happened to have an Escalade written on the back of it, but
so big.
Don't worry about any of that. It was actually a tank. It was actually a tank from Ukraine, basically, same thing. Fucking huge,
so big,
mate. I sat in the back seat with the one of the other guys, and one of the guys sat in the front. He was so far away from me, I felt like I had to shout to talk to him.
They also have no respect for their own wallets or atmosphere with like the gas mileage these things get.
I peeked over the side and it's like 16 miles per gallon. I was like, oh, that's a good day.
That's not bad.
That's a good day.
That's not bad. I'm genuinely shocked. I thought you were going to say like 5. No shit.
This is probably the most recent, most economical version, perhaps.
A friend of mine in the States got a Mustang and changed the gearing. I don't know what I think it was 480. I think he changed it to. I don't know what any of that means, right? For automatics or whatever. I don't know. And he was like, yeah, the gas mileage was, it was like a Ford GT, high spec model. It was not the best to begin with, and with these gears, it goes fast, but then so does the fuel. And I was like, what are you getting? And
every now and again, you're checking under your car. It's like, is there a leak or something?
Yeah, it's like, is someone drilling holes in this tank every time I go to bed? Like, I was like, what are you getting? He was like, it started at like 11, 12. We're at 7. And I'm like,
no respect for fuel.
And I'm like, I know
dinosaur juice.
Yeah, right. Like some poor T-Rex is going through this engine.
This isn't like rainwater.
How did it's probably more of a Conbro's topic, but just in general, how did you find America? Because I like it out there. I think it's good fun. There's Americans, but otherwise also,
I was gonna say the whole trip was really, really good. I had some preconceived notions when going into it, so I had some like, I'm not gonna like this aspect, not gonna like that aspect. It's LA as well, so it's
How did you like LA actually?
It was all right. It's obviously not. I don't think this is the true representation of America, especially because I spent a lot of the time on the Hollywood area, and then I drove to the points of interest, so Santa Monica Beach, Venice Beach, and stuff like that, and in between, I didn't really do any stopping.
Yeah.
And I could see some of the places in between, and I was like, this is the badder part.
Yeah.
But
this is one of those parts where you get gas before or after. You don't stop here. Yeah.
I told you I had one experience of what you probably see on the internet of like Americans, right? It was in a 7-Eleven. the guy asked for $1 for a cup for something like that, right? And the girl refused to pay for it. And I was like, I don't know what's going on, so I'm just going to keep my distance out here. And she decided her go-to response for him asking for $1 for this cup was, oh, it's because you don't get no pussy. It's because you don't get no pussy. It's like, no, it's okay. It's all right. I know you don't get no pussy. No problem. No problem. And I was like, she gonna start.
How did we get to there?
I don't know how we got to this spot. It just went from 7 to 100 right away.
7 to 11.
I don't know how we got to here. And I don't know why it's like, I mean, it seemed to me that you pay $1 for the cup and then you go and get your thing and then, I don't know, you pay for the rest, or maybe that's the whole thing. I don't know.
Did you go to like one of those cafe, restaurant, IHOP type places, order coffee, and then the lady came over and refill, hun? Did she call you hun?
Yes.
And then refilled it and it's free.
Right.
It's nuts.
Crazy.
Yeah, I do like a lot about America, gotta be honest.
It was really cool. I would love to go back there.
I think as well, here's the thing about like Americans. Americans,
Yeah.
hard to put up with. But like Americans, great. So like you met Americans who are the devs and all those lot, right?
Yeah.
The chap that also won the thing.
Yeah.
Right? Americans.
He was cool.
Americans, they're a problem. They're the sort that like come to see Big Ben and scream at the top of their lungs when they're like not even this far away.
Yeah.
Right? As if we don't all live here. Right? They're hard to part with, but like Americans, they're great. They're like peppy, they're interested, they're go-getters.
It really was a good time. I
will say Floridians are a different breed.
They do.
That is nuts.
They probably
They
are.
are absolutely insane.
I was considering. I was like, man, I'd really like to go back to Disneyland one time because like there was some stuff that I didn't get to do, some rides that were closed and stuff like that. And I was like, maybe I don't have to go all the way to thing. Maybe I could go to Florida. Oh wait, I don't want to go.
Then
to
there's
Florida.
Floridians.
I don't want to go to Florida.
Again,
anyway.
a weird mix of people there as well.
Yeah. But anyway, the studio was definitely a peak. And then Disneyland was the day after. It was just one minuscule step down, but that was a really, really good trip, and I really loved going.
If you weren't you'd have been like, Disneyland's amazing. But the problem is, it's like it's us, it's Respawn. They made our favorite CODs.
Yeah.
They made Jedi Fallen Order, Space Wizards with laser swords and good combat.
Yeah.
Like, gonna be hard to top that.
And it also helped with I won't go into specifics, but the portion of the game that I was playing was a press build that they'd used before. The part that I was playing was very story heavy, and the story in that part was very
You're talking my
good.
language here, yeah.
And I was like, and I went and talked to the guy. I was like, yo, this? And he's like, yeah, like this? Yeah. And then we started chatting all about that. The implications of that. And he's like, yeah, oh, you're going to find out. You're going to find out. And I'm like, oh my God, this is great. And then we talk all about that.
Yeah.
So it was everything I wanted it to be. And then just meeting all of the devs and then being so fucking kind. And they're like...
I mean, they make American game developer money. So when you're making that kind of money...
It's true. For example...
It's easy to be nice.
For example, they said to me, they were like, what the guy who was in LA brought his lightsaber for them to sign because he could. He lived like close by, and I said to them, "I was like, oh man, I wish like I could have brought a fucking Pelican case that big on the plane, and I would have got mine signed as well." And they're like, "Well, hey, don't worry about it. If you want, you can send it to us, and we'll ship it back to you, no problem." And I was like,
"I don't have that kind of money, bruv."
And the thing is that they also said, like, "We'll ship it back to you," and I was like, "Yeah, but I don't have the money to ship it to you. That's the problem."
I'm genuinely curious what those sorts of jobs make.
Probably stinking money because the way that they were just willing to pay for more and more stuff. Like I said, they paid for Disneyland, they paid for all the hotels, the flights, they paid 350 quid worth of Uber vouchers as well, dollars I should say. They gave you $250 of vouchers as well to spend on whatever out there. They just continue to add to it all. And then, yeah, everything they did for us while we were there. Anyway, yeah, then they ship us back and then we went to Disneyland. Now, I did bring you some stuff from America. Just to, like, you know, ease the wounds. To, like, pour some... What's the stuff? Robitussin that they put on the wounds in America. There's, like... To, like, just soothe it just a little bit.
I've heard that on movies.
Go ahead.
You. Senior Technical Artist Procedural. Right. I don't really know what that means. Base salary. 113,000. This is starting 113,300 to $171,700.
How do you start on 6 figures? Jesus Christ.
Harden as well. It then goes, base salary is just one part of the overall compensation. We also offer a package of benefits, including paid time off.
You know it's going to be full of benefits like that. Healthcare, stuff like that.
I don't know what this means by 16 paid company holidays per year. Like, I guess
company holidays, a bit like bank holidays, maybe.
I don't know. 10 weeks paid time off to
that's
bond with your baby.
That's a ridiculous amount of money.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. But I did bring you some stuff to soothe the pain of not going to America and enjoying such a great holiday. You know, things like Disneyland and stuff like that.
Right.
devs. You know, because you were so miserable here because your life sucks and everything like that.
That's a true thing.
I brought you a couple of things. So, a couple of them. I bought you a Los Angeles magnet for your fridge.
Sick.
While I was at WB and I went to do the WB tour, I got you a Batman.
That's sick. That's going on my
bottle
keys
opener
now.
on key ring right there.
That's sick. I really like it. Thank you, bro. Thank you.
And while I was at, and that's authentic from the WB studios right there. So, you know, it can't get any better than that.
Did you spit in the studio though? This is cool. Sheps like it.
Sons of bitches. And we'll talk a little bit more about the Conbros podcast about that. And from Galaxy's Edge, I brought you an insanely expensive...
What is that?
Sprite.
Oh my God.
And they're shaped like what I guess is supposed to be a thermal detonator, I guess. And I want us to have it on the podcast. I want to have a little drinky.
Excuse me, sorry.
I brought this all the way from
Watch it explode.
Oh God, it could be, you know.
And it's going to be the most underwhelming Sprite you've ever had. How much did these Sprites cost, genuinely?
$7.50. Galaxy's Edge is a bit expensive, guys. It's a bit expensive. Cheers.
That Sprite.
It does taste like Sprite.
That is a Sprite.
Sprite.
We're drinking $15 worth of Sprite. It's less than a bottle we could have got across the road for £1. Oh my days.
I was like, oh man, these are so cool. Sprite. Oh, Sprite, guys.
They're going to make for like cool props though at the back.
You
know?
I love the authenticity of it, you know, like funky writing of an alien language. It looks all like funky on here, and they've done a good job. But
it is a Sprite.
It
is a Sprite. Or it's half a Sprite. It's about a can's worth of Sprite, maybe less.
I'll talk about it, as I said, on the Conbros podcast, which we're going to make public for people.
It's a can's worth of Sprite.
Yeah. Which we're going to make public for people so people can hear the stories and stuff like that. But
after a delay.
But the
patrons obviously get it first, of course.
The food that I got at Galaxy's Edge was, top notch.
Do you know what Americans do? Do you know what's funny? I spoke to you about America and its food. America, in particular, because of my road trips all across the South, so I ate a lot of good food, like barbecue type stuff.
Yeah,
I spent half an hour unironically watching. It popped up as a recommended video about the best barbecue in Texas.
Oh,
and it was ridiculous. Like, the restaurant's open 2.5 days out of the week, and the other 7 days they are the 5 days they're working, getting ready.
Slow roasting it. Oh, they must be quite expensive though.
It wasn't cheap.
Yeah,
it wasn't cheap. There was like orders for. Imagine like you and me went. We're probably looking at about over $100 for bits of barbecue. But I mean, everybody that these guys interviewed were like, "Oh, this is amazing. This is the best stuff." The queue was like 7 hours long. Yeah,
that's a long time to wait for barbecue. I mean,
you have to get there early, innit?
You have to have a meal in that time.
Yeah, you do.
So you bring sandwiches so you can line up to pick up your dinner.
But yeah, the food out there is pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, food in America is strange, right? Because they take it so seriously in some places, but then, for example, their bread doesn't go off the way ours does.
Do you know what? I noticed that about the milk. The milk lasts a lot longer out there. We bought some for Isle, obviously, and
it's a bad thing. Because you think like, oh, the milk lasts a really long time. The bread doesn't. You can just leave it out for like 2 weeks and it's still good to eat. Except the problem is it's never good to eat. there's so much like preservatives and stuff. That's one of the big complaints, or like things that if you ever speak to Americans that move here, they're like, stuff goes off so quick. And you're like, yeah, because it's real food.
It's real shit.
Because bacteria can eat it.
You know, I don't know which one. Yeah, it's not a good thing to have that stuff in your body, obviously.
Yeah.
The only downside is that what happens over here in the UK is, like, for example, Tesco's, they keep everything out in the back till the day before, and they chuck it on the thing, and then you've got one day to eat a whole loaf of bread.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I know it's like that because when COVID happened, a bunch of shit got bought up really quickly, so they had to bring out the stock from the back, and there was stuff on there with like 7 days.
I can tell you, it is like
normally you bitches got that in the back, innit?
I can
Stop
tell you
that shit
because I used to do that sort of stuff. Totally true, but
you're the bastard.
But it is because of like, it's a stock. It's not to do you over. It's to make sure they have stuff as it
something so they can consistently sell.
Yeah,
being out
as
of stock
deliveries come. Yeah. So it is one of those. But if like everybody came in and took all the milk, they would bring the new milk out. It's not that they would be like, no, we have to wait.
Yeah. It's just I wish they would just tone it down just a little bit.
Because you know bread's good for a week or something, right? Why have I only got
get it for 3 days in there instead of a whole week back there? You know, and
right.
Piss me off. So I'm just trying to find
this
our
is
first
a gaming
topic.
podcast, by the way. It's,
so sorry about that. Yeah, we're talking about bread and stuff.
If you're
like
wondering, Ed has his laptop going for an upload.
Yes, so I have to do everything on my phone, and for some reason one of my links has gone missing on here, so I'm having to manually search for it. Here we go.
We'll just talk amongst ourselves.
Where's the fucking thing? I
don't know, man.
Okay, here we go. All right. Should we start with our first topic?
Yes.
Actually, wait. Should we start with our True Gamers Festival?
Yes.
How do we intro this thing?
What are we introing?
The True Game.
Well, normally we slate them.
Oh, okay.
Normally we find a reason to just call them out in the worst possible way.
Bro, you know what I really hate?
What do you really hate?
WB. But you know what I hate more than WB?
More than WB.
More than WB. Our Super Bros over at patreon.com/Conbrosations.
How weird is it that we don't actually have an intro? It's just an insult. And if we don't have an insult, we can't get into it.
We just how are we going to get into this?
How are we going to talk about these guys? Yes.
How's it going to work?
I need to weigh in.
Who support us over at patreon.com/Conbrosations, who support us at the Super Bro tier.
You really do rely on having like scripting and stuff.
Everything's run out. Like for this, all I have is the names in front of me. But for some reason, the having it in my hand gives me that flow. I really don't know what I'm doing right now. Let's just say thank you anyway. Thank you guys for supporting us over at Patreon. We really can't do this show without you guys. And those great people are, those Super Bros are, Isak the Ultimate Cumsock, My Juicy Left Nut, Sabine from Smallville, Mikey T the Gamer Giant, the Filthy FIFA Fanatic Joe McCormack, Jim Heim, and Gamsmaster, the leader of the Empire, the fearless one, the great Lord Vader himself, step cousin, who isn't really related to anyone of importance, but you know he likes to be involved sometimes. You know. Thank you everybody for everything.
Thank you, Jim Heim. That's gets me every time.
Exactly.
Also, it's worse because every time you say it, it's just rubbing salt in the wound because it's a cool name when you know what it's like. Like Valheim or Vanaheim or like, you know, like, and then you go and do that.
I've bastardized it. All right. So, our first topic, breaking news.
Yeah.
After what seemed like a couple of hints and teases from the commission. What does CMA stand for again?
Oh, God. I do know
Competition
what it means.
Market Authority.
There you go.
That's it. The Competition Market Authority in the UK, after a few hints, what seemed like it was going to be an easy pass for Microsoft for the merger of Activision, Blizzard, and Microsoft. They came out yesterday, officially to say that they are blocking the deal between Microsoft and Activision. Apparently citing cloud implications and competition in the future. So they've kind of sort of dropped the idea that them owning a big publisher could cause other issues in terms of console gaming and stuff like that. And they've chosen that the cloud and services like Game Pass and stuff like that are where the real concerns lie.
Yeah. I wish they'd have come out and said, officially, look, if you think it's that easy, just build your own cold competitor. You've got 10 years. It's fine. It's easy enough, right?
You said it. So why can't you do it? That would have been the best way to say it.
We need to hold them accountable. Everything they said that in a court of law,
Right.
as a business case, that is their take on it.
It's so stupid how they can say such dumb things and feel like it's totally okay.
It is ridiculous.
Anyway, so in the beginning, when I heard this news that the sole thing that's stopping this thing going through is their cloud concerns, I was like, bit of a dumb thing to pin everything on, isn't it? I mean, does anybody care about cloud? Do you care about cloud? I care about cloud.
In a gaming sense, absolutely not.
Right. I was like, who the hell cares? But then they brought. I read excerpts of their 90-page document they put out, and they have one fairly good concern on there. Their concern is that if they buy Activision Blizzard, they will have these huge, ginormous IPs that are very attractive to loads of people. And in the future, when everything probably does move over to cloud eventually, when we eventually get rid of consoles and everything, they are going to be already prime set up with the biggest IPs ever on a cloud gaming system, which they already have had run up for a while.
And they have like market-leading servers.
Exactly. Whereas everyone else is kind of like lagging behind. There are some other smaller companies in the business, but nowhere near as big as Microsoft in terms of server powers and stuff like that. And if they have this, then they will be the #1 publisher for video games on cloud services. And I was like, well, shit, I mean, you kind of got a point there. Because if PlayStation come up...
What a crazy idea that they actually thought that far ahead.
That's the thing. I didn't think about that. And there's another thing that came up as well. So immediately after that was done, Microsoft went into full damage control mode, and they started offering more and more 10-year deals. But this time, instead of to like Nintendo or other companies like that, they went to cloud companies and stuff. And they went to a tiny little European company in like Ukraine. They went to this... People of no of no relevance. They did go to Nvidia GeForce Now, for example, which is great.
Yeah.
But they don't play on the cloud. They play on a virtual PC in the cloud.
Right.
So it's not the same thing. But anyway. But the thing is that the cloud issue that they have, as well as it being that if you have these games, people are going to come to you. Also, in Microsoft's own document with these 10-year deals, did you know that they're actually requesting 100% of the profits from all of these games that they sell on these services? So whoever's running the service, like Nvidia GeForce Now, this European company, whatever it is,
what?
They don't get a cut at all.
They're the bad guys.
That's what I'm saying.
They're Arasaka.
In their document, and I hope I fucking saved it properly. Let me just shit. Oh fucking! I hope I have. I hope I have. Let me just go to these other. Damn it!
Talk amongst yourselves, gamers. That's actually insane to me.
I saved it.
And also, what a save! And I'm genuinely impressed that the CM. God damn it. CMA. I don't know why S worked its way in there. Why the CMA actually... I would not have expected them to have people that knew what they were doing. You know, I was expecting this to be like... have you seen The Big Short?
I haven't seen it yet, no.
It's really good. It's all about the financial crash in 2008. And there's a financial regulation body there, the SCA, I think it is. SS... Whatever. SEC, I think it is, yeah. Just completely clueless.
Utterly nonsense.
And that's what I thought this was going to be.
From the beginning, that's what I said.
Yeah.
I said to everyone, don't worry, this is going to go through. Yeah. They don't know what they're doing, and the only reason why they're holding it up is so they can grease their palms a little bit.
Yeah.
They're just looking for their paycheck. As soon as Microsoft gives them their paycheck under the table, this is going through.
Yeah.
And then it comes out that they actually read shit? They actually listen?
They read the right shit.
Right.
They asked informed, interesting, important questions. They thought about the future of they looked at the space.
Right.
Its growth over time. Its potential destination.
It's
and they
so
made
strange.
informed decisions, drew realistic conclusions, and then were like, this is potentially damaging. Also ironic that this team of, because their finding is what I experts in their field,
Cool.
agreed with us. We've been saying this for 5 years, that buying up all this shit is not the way to go.
Exactly. So I found the one part in the in the CMA's document where they had issue with all of these so-and-so remedies that Microsoft keeps talking about that they're doing, these 10-year deals they keep offering, that apparently is completely remedying all of the issues that they're raising. However, it's not. So that in one part they say, the modified Microsoft Cloud remedies do not remedy other significant defects. In the original Microsoft Cloud remedy in particular, first, the modified Cloud Microsoft... There's a lot of words in this. The modified Microsoft Cloud remedy would entitle Microsoft to retain all from the sales from Activision games, in-app purchases, and any future game-related transaction revenues. As a result, cloud game streaming services would not become rivals to Microsoft Game Pass Ultimate, but rather they would become Microsoft's customers. So there's like no one else will be able to profit at all from any of the games going through their service.
They effectively were like, we want you to agree to just effectively owing us to exist. What?
It's so ridiculous. I was like, and what's really stupid about that? So this came out. Obviously, it went to Microsoft first before CMA published their findings. They do that out of respect. Like, this is coming out. You can't change anything about it. This is our findings. This is our result. This is what we're going to say.
Yeah.
So they give it to them the day before, and they're like, here it is. They've seen this. Then CMA publishes everything, and then Microsoft go and do the same 10-year deals that they have a problem with again. And it's like, we just said that this doesn't solve the problem. Why are you making more deals like this for something that isn't going to solve the problem? You're not going to get this deal. Are you stupid? And it turns out, I mean, it's obvious now.
I think they're trying to do a lot of small deals that end up this way. One, it's death by 1,000 cuts or something. It's one of those, like, if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile, because they just go inch, inch. Oh, sorry, you got a problem with my back. Inch, and you get every little thing that you need, every little piece of the puzzle. Luckily, actually, Microsoft is, again, management have no idea what they're doing, realistically, in the gaming division, because Microsoft is much more involved. Luckily, they went and did the exact same play. Yeah. Because the real scary move would be to go and buy up all the peripherals. So, like, for example, if you want games stuff, you go and buy up all, like, the data centers nearby. And now the only way to do anything cloud related is to go to data centers that you own. Well, we own them, you make a contract with them, but they own by us, so your contract's with us.
That'll be some hostile takeover shit, right?
Yeah. That's how you do that.
I think I know what their play is with that.
Yeah.
I think I know what their play is, because most people aren't going to read that excerpt there. No, most people aren't even going to understand it, because it's fairly like legal talk as well. It's not easy to understand. What they're doing is they're cutting all these deals to seem to the general public that they're like the nice guy and they're doing everything right. And then when it comes to, like, I don't know, say the CMA continues and they say they don't want anything and it gets approved elsewhere, well, then they can't operate as a business as we know it today in the UK, so they're going to have to pull their games. And then the gamers are going to be like, whoa, what's going on? These guys, you're blocking them. Look, they're doing all these nice things. They're doing all these great things and giving all these 10-year deals to people, etc., etc., etc. They haven't done anything wrong, and you've blocked them just so they can, like, have them on their side so they can lobby against the governments, even though the CMA is an independent company. But
the idea being thousands and thousands of angry Xbox gamers
to get them to just overturn
tweet them and say, you can't do this, you can't do this. But that isn't. First of all, hopefully they won't give in.
Hopefully.
Because that's just mob mentality.
Well, this is the thing. The CMA, the whole reason why it's independent is so that you can't say that the government is being greased in any particular way and whatnot. It's an independent company that does an investigation, and then they go, this is our findings, this is what we will find from it, and then that's the ruling.
Yeah.
They're not going to cave to any sort of, like, political pressure, because they don't have any political alliance. Hopefully, I mean, obviously people get bought out and people have their own like alignments and stuff like that. What was extra funny after this came out? Brad Smith, who's a CEO of Microsoft, one of the CEOs at Microsoft, he came out and he did an interview with BBC. Obviously, loads of people want to talk to him. How you feel about this? Their stock drops and Sony stock flies through the air. And he basically hinted at that the UK is not a place where tech can innovate, not a place where tech companies can go to do business, and other tech companies should also be wary of doing business in the UK. And should things continue, they're like, well, we'll have to really reconsider whether or not we can do business in the UK.
Bye.
And I'm like, bruv.
You can't do business anywhere. Your consoles are fully stocked everywhere I go. In every country I've been to.
So there's a reason why you got 30% drop in your consoles year over year. But I love how
they're just trying they're cry-bullying their way in, and they have the money effectively to do so. That being said, no one's pulling out of the UK. We're
that's the thing.
We're the 5th biggest economy on the planet.
It's such stupidity. Like, I get, like, since Brexit, things have gone very badly for, like, the UK, but it's not so badly that, like, we're a third world country now or anything like that. So, well, they barely buy anything anyway. Right. What's going on? But
the UK is not so great. But even though there's that violent uprising in Sudan, that's where we're going to focus our efforts.
That's where it should be. I just love that his whole take is that because you're not letting us buy our way...
Do whatever we want.
Yeah, do whatever we want. Buy our way, regardless of what that means for the consumer, regardless of what that means for the gamer. We're going to say that the UK is not a good place to do business. It's like...
Right.
Cry much?
Yeah, cry much. And then I love the idea of... And other tech companies should look at that. You mean the other tech companies that are printing money here?
Totally fine. Because everyone else is like, we're cool.
We're a really good place to do business. That's why all of them are here.
Yeah.
Like, what are you smoking?
Absolute nonsense, I'll tell you that.
What are you smoking? That is... what? Yeah.
But that Brad Smith guy said apparently this is the darkest... This decision, I have to say, is probably the darkest day for decades... In our 4 decades in Britain, the darkest day.
Oh, don't worry about COVID.
No. A breeze compared to this.
Yeah. I mean, Russia literally invaded Ukraine recently. That's an actual thing. 2008 crash.
Nothing. This is the darkest day.
This is it.
Guys, everyone should be wary.
Because someone wouldn't let me play with toys that weren't mine.
I do have to give a hats off to the
CMA.
to the CMA Commission, because they came out afterwards, and the obviously Sky News, BBC got the CMA people on. They were like, "Do you have a rebuttal for what Brad Smith's saying? What these guys are saying?"
So they say, "Yeah, he's a dickhead."
Basically, they're like, "No, what we're saying is completely fine. This is our concern. So and so and so. Have him answer that." Crickets.
Dickhead.
No answer to that. The only thing they've got to say is that, Britain's a terrible place to do business now for tech companies, and it's stifling innovation. That's what it's doing. It's like, how about you address the concern that they put down? Tell us why that's bullshit. Tell us why that's bullshit.
Stifling innovation.
But sir, there's but the concern we had.
Well, it's not a good place to do business.
But in the
innovation.
But we did
gaming.
You just turned it to Phil Spencer. Gaming.
For the gamers.
Anyway, it's I have to say, as I said in the beginning, I thought that this was a sure thing.
Oh yeah, me too.
I really thought this was a sure thing, and I didn't waver too much. I felt myself, I saw a couple of good points, but I was like, it's still gonna come down to guys in suits who don't know shit.
Yeah.
Even if they bring up and they say a great thing, still going to be suits just understanding crap.
People that don't know what they're talking about, don't know the industry, don't see that, games, that's what kids play, sort of like, no, this is a real industry. This is a huge industry.
But now,
I
genuinely do think that this deal is going to get blocked.
I kind of hope so. The weird thing as well is, like, I actually... You know, you're usually Mr. Optimism and I'm usually Mr. Pessimism. I thought this deal was obviously going through, just like you. They're going to grease the palms of the right people, and they're going to find we did an internal review and found we did nothing wrong. But that it was going to give Microsoft the chance to, like, justify. Jesus,
that's
thermal detonators. Who knew? Delicious. I thought it was going to give them a chance to say, look, this is our 5-year plan, 10-year plan. This is what we're going to bring out. And, like, actually demonstrate that they'd maybe learned some lessons from, obviously Game Pass doesn't work. Maybe not say it doesn't work, but say we're making these other projects.
Yeah.
And giving them a chance to like show that they're thinking about the future and actually going to make some stuff and what we're going to do with it. Okay, you're picking up EA and Activision. Was it Blizzard Activision? You know
Activision Blizzard, yeah.
Activision Blizzard, thank you. Like, you're picking up Activision Blizzard, fine. What are you going to do with it? Because you've done nothing with the other studios, as far as I can tell.
That's the most concerning part to us gamers, right? Because
Right.
we've seen the mismanagement that's going on. Buying them isn't enough. Buying them, and then what, you're going to ruin those guys as well? If they told me they had a plan or they did something and they filled me with some confidence rather than we're just buying Call of Duty or buying these games, and the only thing we can conclude from that is what you've done before, which is take them away from PlayStation. I was like,
Right.
Is that going to be your whole plan?
And evidence, this isn't just an opinion, evidence, Sony hires Bethesda to make Deathloop award-winning game. Did it win awards? I think it won awards.
Yeah.
You know, a very good game. Niche, but in its niche, very good.
Yeah.
Proof they can do it when managed properly.
Yeah.
What have they made under Microsoft and when left to their own devices? Not a lot of good stuff recently, right?
Yeah.
So this isn't just two dudes ripping on Microsoft or Xbox. So I was really kind of hoping they would go, okay, let's put our act together. Again, we know that they've copied Sony's homework. We know they have the recipe. They've broken down what makes The Last of Us, Horizon, Ghost of Tsushima, Spider-Man, God of War. What makes them so good? They've broken it down. They have the recipe. They have the blueprint. Now's the time to say, look, yeah, okay, we're going to buy this big thing, but this is what we're going to do with it. And yeah, they probably lie about the fact that they're not taking stuff away. And after the 10-year plan, it's like 10 year and 1 day, we take everything away, but we don't have to justify 10 years and 1 day, only up to 10 years. Realistically, what they would do, but fine. A little bit of me was hopeful that they would demonstrate they actually know what they're doing, even if they're doing something that net is negative for the industry in a way that Game Pass, it's bad. It forces you to have to interact with them, where Game Pass is just bad. Instead, they came out and it turns out worse than I painted them, and I painted them pretty poorly.
Yeah, there's a low bar, and you somehow managed to go under that.
It's genuinely impressive. And again, anybody, any expert, if this is your first episode, I painted them poorly because I used to freaking love them. How often will I bring up Halo just on its own? Like organically. Like freaking, I used to be bought in, and then you sort of realize what's going on. I'm sorry, but I don't know. Let me ask you a question. What do you think is going on at Microsoft or Xbox? Because why do they want to buy up all these IPs? Why? Because they're not doing it. They've got tons, and they're not doing anything with them. What's the point of owning it? Do you think that they're just like collectors? Someone has a collection fetish and got access to the Microsoft P&L and was like, I want Bethesda. I'm just going to buy it. Add it to the collection. We got Rare, got Bethesda, we got, I'd love EA.
I touched on this one time before, and I think this is genuinely it now. And it's sort of proven by how viciously they're going after Activision Blizzard and how they really want it. It's because they have realized that they themselves can't manage anything internally.
Yeah.
And they won't say it to anybody. Obviously, they'll still do the song and dance that they're the best games company in the world and they're the best of everything. Best place to play is Xbox, guys.
Standard propaganda.
Exactly.
Fair enough, yeah.
But they have realized internally, and there's no point in lying to themselves. So the reason why they're buying these big ass studios is hoping that they can buy the management that's with them and then make them make a good game.
Ooh.
And if you buy a Call of Duty, you would think by now that's self-sustaining. That there's not much involvement you need to do other than give them the cash and then give the team to do what they've got to do, and then the team churns it out every single year.
Yeah.
Same with Bethesda, like they've got their studios there, they've got their Todd Howard over there, he can do whatever he likes, they don't interfere too much. Whereas when they bought before, like the smaller studios, they bought their Ninja Theories or whatever it was and stuff like that, those guys required some input. And then when they got involved, they ruined it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they're doing with this. That's why they're fighting so hard for Activision Blizzard, because without it, they can't do anything else.
Yeah.
And if they don't get them, then it's like, cool, we've got Redfall coming up, which who knows whether that's going to be good or not.
Yeah.
Starfield coming up, again, we don't know whether that's going to be good or not. Let's say it's going to be good anyway, but like, okay, that's a good game. And then what?
Yeah.
And then
Fable
what?
in 4 years or something.
Right? And even that's Playground Games. That's one of their own studios. That's probably going to get fucked up.
Yeah.
Maybe Skyrim will be okay. Maybe. But that's too far out to even judge.
Yeah.
And then what? And I think that's what their idea is that they're like, we better buy something else quick so we can distract from the fact that we can't do this anymore.
I love the idea. It's like, we can't do this, like, video game thing. Let's spend $100 billion.
Because it makes no sense to me how you can say, we will spend the best part of $70 billion.
A country's... We looked it up, didn't we? It's like, that is literally a country's GDP.
$70 billion. Before thinking, hold on a second, why don't we spend a fraction of a percentage and make a game with the highest budget ever of a game and attract the best talent from
like
around
Halo
the world?
Infinite?
True.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. But that's your normal inclination if you're a good video game maker. So it makes no sense to me. And the only thing that's left over is maybe they know internally they can't make games. So that's off the table. That's not even an option.
I think you're right and wrong.
Go on.
What I think you're wrong about is the idea that they'd actually be able to leave the company alone. And what would actually happen is, no matter how little they would say, and add this, and whatever that is, ruins it.
Poison in the water.
Ruins it. Because, that's coming from... Wherever it comes into the company, it's coming from an equal or higher place in Microsoft. You're now new owner. That's going to come in with a weight that team then goes... Whether it's, Activision Blizzard CEO down, or director, whatever, down, they're going to go, this is the new law. This new thing that we're adding is God. It happens no matter what. And that, even if that's the only involvement they have, done. You changed something. And I don't think whoever makes those decisions at Xbox/Microsoft can help themselves. I don't think they can buy up that much thing and say, well, we can't have no involvement. We just spent 70 billion. We have to justify to whoever's above this that we're involved.
Well, here's the thing. I do think that, like, when it comes to management of stuff, it's like there is such a thing as two hands off. And when you're two hands off, things just go really mad. When you're two hands on, you restrict the creativity, especially in a creative world we're in right now.
But crazy idea, they bought a thing because they didn't own it. It was doing what it was supposed to do before you touched it.
That's the unfortunate situation they're in, is that every time they've touched it, they've proved it turns to like mud.
What they need to do is buy whatever they buy next, and then whoever their decision maker is, they have to go in with one of those like charity film crews who are just used to letting children starve to death in front of them for the shot.
Yeah.
You're allowed to look, but you can't touch, you can't talk to them, you can't help.
You walk there with like a stick.
You're going, we observe only. Observe only. But Eves is literally assaulting that woman. Observe only. For legal reasons, that was a joke.
Did you hear about Joseph Staten that went to Netflix?
No.
So he left 343 after the abysmal Halo Infinite. He came in to save it, so God knows what situation it was in before, and then it came to that situation. And then he left because of how bad everything was over there. And Netflix has opened up a new game studio to because they're going to start making games now, and hired Joseph Staten to work for them. How bad has Microsoft got to be that you're going to go to an unproven, and Netflix is constantly talking about how much debt they're in and how much
they don't make a profit, and we've all seen what happens to their shows,
right? And like for Joseph Staten to be like, I want to fucking take a shot over here. You guys are
imagine,
I'm out.
You're a guy with a pedigree who's brought in to save the IP for for the biggest company in gaming in the West, and you're looking at your other offers like Netflix. You know, if that KFC console offers me something,
Hey, it's got chicken tenders in it. Hey,
right?
oh.
Like, how bad? That's a way of looking at it that is just so damning in my mind.
Like you'd be upsetting if you was if you was Xbox hearing that. I'd rather go to some unproven studio than.
Do you know?
than talk to
I'm
you.
going to be upfront with you. I don't think you would be, because I don't think the people making those decisions are either capable of understanding those emotions and having them. Otherwise, we wouldn't be in this situation, or smart enough. And unfortunately, I don't think it's that they're not smart enough.
What is their issue then?
Because you and me could fix this. I'm looking right now at what Respawn devs get paid. Bring us on. We'll split that salary.
Yeah.
I'll split the low end.
And that's
you could split 113 with me,
I'll do it. Yeah, I'll do that.
and we'll fix it for you. All you got to do is what we say, and we'll do it. Do you know what I mean?
And it's not like and that job isn't even the big job of like running the entire company or anything like that.
Not even that. Like, genuinely, if they were, if obviously it's a made up scenario, but if someone sent this clip to like whoever and they were like, okay, you're so smart and we're not buying these guys now, we've got $70 billion burning a hole in our pocket, what do you want? Make the new studio and do it. Okay. What do we really need? A couple $100 million, maybe a bit more. I'm going to ask for $5 billion because they'll just say yes.
Because they'll say yes to anything.
We're going to pay 40% above market for every role
Yes.
and get the best guys. Because if you get the best people, what's that 80-20 rule? You know the thing? It's like 80% of everything good is made by 20% of your staff.
I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, it's called the Pareto distribution. So it's this weird thing where, like, for example, billionaires, right? A really small amount of the population has the majority of the wealth.
Right.
That idea is in everything.
Okay.
So, like, a couple of sports legends have the most records, sort of
right,
thing.
yeah,
Right?
yeah. Like Wayne Gretzky gets everything. Where
Michael
Tom
Phelps
Brady
has-
gets everything.
Right. These,
LeBron James, everything.
Right.
Michael Jordan, everything. That's it, yeah.
and then the rest is like split up. There's 20% left, split up by like 80% of the field. If you find those top people, they'll make so much more and so much faster and so much better that it's worth the extra like 30 to 50% in salary, because they're going to be so much better. You can have one guy doing the work of 5 people because they're just naturally that way. And then we have the best talent, and then all we have to do is just not make a shit and I mean story wise, because the game itself will be good.
Yeah.
Do you know how I know? Because I play video games.
They're so closed-minded. Because, like, for example, what Sony did with Kojima.
Yeah.
His studio, his everything. The only thing is like, okay, we're gonna fund your first game.
Yep.
So we get the IP, but everything
that's
else
us.
is yours.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah.
nuts. We believe that you're the creative and you're the one that gets to do it.
Yeah.
You can pick a few people that do that and offer
It's
them
effectively a business loan.
offer them a chance to have their own business, their own studio with their name on the plaque above the door.
Yeah.
No creative is going to turn that down. No, like, high level, like, producer, director is going to turn that down. So why won't you do something like that? Instead, you want to take things away from people. I just don't understand that.
You're right. It's done backwards, right? So they wait for studios to make good things, then buy the studio and interfere. That's the Microsoft, the Xbox way to do things. The Sony way to do things: hire some guys to make you some stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, did really well. Well, let's do another one. That did really well.
Well,
How about we put a ring on it?
come over here.
This is working really well. You're making great stuff. We trust you.
Everything's the same. We're just gonna be
Yeah,
the ones that
we
sign
want
your
you
checks.
to. We want you to move in.
Yeah.
Maybe leave a toothbrush at my place. You know what I mean? Like that. It's just a totally different way of doing things, and obviously, and this isn't because Sony's smart and super amazing, and Microsoft isn't. It's because they have different models, and Sony's one is obviously working at multiple levels. The way they're using studios, that works better, and acquiring studios, that works better. Their focus on games, like what games to make, the story-driven third-person RPGs, that works better. The recipe they use for it, how much. And I don't know the level of control. Sony might be super controlling. I don't know.
It's totally possible.
But whatever their level is,
it seems to work.
It's working. And whoever their managers are, and I'm not saying that managers build games. Obviously, devs, whole teams build games. But whoever those decision makers are, ultimately, the reason that I'm focusing on them is someone says yes or no to it. And yeah, it's up to the team to make it work. But that person is the linchpin. The wrong person in the right position saying yes incorrectly or no incorrectly ruins the game. Ruins it. You know?
All right. The big question.
Yeah.
If this doesn't go through, what do you think Microsoft's next steps could possibly be?
I think they're doing it anyway. I think they're gonna buy up EA and Blizzard.
So you think that's the next thing? They go scorched earth and they just buy a ton of other shit.
Yeah, I think they buy all the surrounding stuff. I think they're gonna do dark shit like they're gonna buy up everybody that prints discs. I'm not even joking.
They'll buy the Blu-ray technology from Sony.
They're gonna make it
and then ban Sony from using it.
They're gonna make it so you can't get out of. You can't make a game without being involved with Microsoft.
I don't know,
They've
man.
got
I feel
$70 billion burning a hole. What sort of damage could you do to the gaming industry? And I don't mean damage like negatively. I mean, what could you do?
This is the thing. I think realistically, they don't need all of that $70 billion to do a lot of deals. So if they don't go for acquiring people, maybe they do acquire some smaller things like Capcom or Square Enix, something like that. If they're even,
I love how we're like they're small, but in comparison to this deal,
in comparison, right? But let's say if they don't do that,
that'd be they're gonna take Square because that's a kick in the face, slap in the face to Sony.
The worst part is that like Square probably don't want to sell. They probably want to be okay.
They're going to be offered so much money they can't reasonably say no.
That's the thing.
It would probably be illegal to say no to the offer they'll get.
Exactly, fiduciary obligation, right? You can't go to your chairmans and your people on the board and go, someone was going to pay us 400% what our company is worth, but we said no.
Yeah. No, they'll be removed.
I want my money.
Yeah,
that's what they'll say.
You're telling me I can get 400% on my investment when we're hoping for 8% a year, and you're going to get me 400% in this one deal? I genuinely think they could. Yeah.
Anyway, so let's say they don't do that, then they would just buy a ton of third-party games because they can overpay for those, and they won't come anywhere near to like buying up a whole studio.
Not even close.
And that will be enough damage to do to other people that they will be happy and satisfied. That they can do their temper tantrum of like, you won't let me buy Activision Blizzard, and I'm going to buy these games so you can't. And then they'll just do enough damage that way until they eventually calm down. Like, was that enough? Right? Was that enough?
I'll tell you. So the question you asked was, what do you think they will do? I'll tell you what I think they won't do. Is invest in making good games. I genuinely think they don't. That's not an option for them.
I mean, why would a games maker, a games publisher, invest in video games? Listen to yourself sometimes.
There's no way.
For fuck's sake, that's what I've been saying since the fucking beginning, man. That's what pissed me off so much. Instead of spending the world's amount of money,
give me 1% of that 700 million. I'm going to start
10
from
games.
Scratch. I'll do a whole new studio, including like getting into the offices, hardware, team, hiring, the lot. We'll start from scratch, and I will get you minimum one good game in 4 years. Minimum.
Bro, they keep talking about these 10-year deals. If you were to stop cutting people 10-year deals and you were to focus on making fucking games, in 10 years you'd have had 7 solid IPs with a baseline for a solid franchise to be going forward and be the best position you've ever been in for the next console cycle. But no, It's all about taking Call of Duty away from someone. It's all about doing this.
They've got so much stuff in terms of assets, right?
Yeah.
If let's say it was us and they go to us, you got to make this game, but for getting like staff and stuff, the budget is nowhere near what we're talking about here. But you can do whatever you want. You know, the first thing I'm doing, I'm scavenging character models from Bethesda. Do you know what I mean? Like, they have so much there that if you were allowed to just pick it, you got 60% of the base game made. Already there. All you have to do is put the pieces together, make them work together, and now what do you do? Okay, what's our idea? We already have a game that works. You know, if you want to do a shooter, you have Halo, which the reason it's not successful is not because it's not good. It's because it's not good. Right? It works well. It's action-packed.
And Halo is still brings shivers to some people's spines. Like, it's still... Exactly. It's just that Halo wasn't good. Halo...
343 Halos.
Yeah, exactly.
Not good.
Yeah.
But, like, you have all those assets. You want to make a shooter? We can do that. Right? Oh, well, also, they've got id, right? You got the Doom guys right there. Like, fuck. Give them Halo.
Mate, that's the perfect...
Fuck. Well, that's what I do. That's what I do. That's my move. You take Halo away from id, from 343. You give it to id, and you give them a real budget. Like, look at, in comparison, id are not a small operation, but in comparison, they're a small outfit.
Yeah.
You give them a real budget, and you say, look, you can't expand the team too far, because I think that's what happened with CDPR going to Cyberpunk. They just expanded way too fast, and had, quality dropped off. Here's your budget. You got 3 years, and this whole 3 library game asset library to draw from, plus all your own stuff. Make us something. You got it. And then we greenlight any project you want afterwards, but you got to make this thing bang like it's a real Halo 4. You go and you say, Halo 4 never happened. You're making Halo 4. Make it work. We greenlight whatever project you want next. No questions asked. We greenlight it up to a budget of X. But you have to make Halo 4, the real Halo 4. That's what I do.
I think developers as well would probably jump on the idea of running Halo.
Yeah.
It's only because Halo in the hands of 343 is bad. Yeah. But I think another developer who's a bit more confident in themselves, like an id, for example, they would totally jump on the idea of running of making a Halo.
I mean, they
game.
Basically make the game.
Halo. It's very similar.
Halo is Doom in space, and Doom is Halo in hell. Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally. So.
What do you think
the plan. I'm actually set on that.
What do you think about the plan, the idea that was pitched, and has a good feeling to it? I mean, it could possibly happen. Xbox essentially just becomes a software company.
We've been thinking about this for a while. They're going to go service-based the whole way.
They could easily pitch it as, well, consoles are dying anyway.
For us, they are.
Despite the next topic that we're going to talk about is that PlayStation just crossed 38 million consoles sold, and 6 million consoles sold in the last quarter, being the highest quarter of any console ever.
Yeah.
Consoles are dying.
By the way, despite the last 3 years.
But don't worry.
I mean, there's no point to them.
Dying.
No one wants them.
No one wants to be. Everyone wants to play on the cloud. So
yeah.
But they'll pitch it like that.
With an asterisk, and underneath the whole thing, star, all the way down, Xbox. No one wants consoles from Xbox.
So they'll pitch it like that.
Yeah.
And they'll have their Game Pass continue. And maybe in that time, in that transition, and obviously if they get rid of consoles, then they'll obviously pitch the idea of Game Pass to Sony as well.
Oh God, imagine.
Now PlayStation will probably be like, Sony probably be like, okay, it has to be watered the fuck down. It can't be any of the third-party games that we sell on our console. It can't be anything that we even remotely get close to. Yeah. It would have to be only your own first-party games. And what price is that? Yeah. And then they go on from there. So they do that because they don't care about set console sales anymore. PlayStation are by themselves over there with Nintendo.
Which is a terrible idea.
Terrible idea. That leaves no competition for them. That's a scary thought.
Also, no competition outside of Japan. How long before every game is just a tentacle scene?
I mean, you'll be happy, but I think about everyone else.
That's what I'm saying. How long before? How long do I have to wait?
Give it up. Make my dreams come true.
Imagine that's actually what happens. And a history teacher of gaming is like, unfortunately, the good guys, Microsoft, didn't win the battle of the CMA. That was the turning point. It's like a rewriting of World War II where Hitler wins.
So this was the Franz Ferdinand smoking gun.
But we had to learn. We have the exact same history classes, I think.
So we've traced it right back to this moment. If they had won this, and then like people in the future be like, man, if we invent time machines,
we could go back. We could go back and just bribe the CMA.
And then one of the teachers, no, trust me, someone came from the future and told us not to do that because it's
actually worse.
It was way worse.
It's worse than this tentacle hell.
Apparently. Anyway, that's a very, very far away possibility right now.
Yeah.
But I mean, as I said, I really thought this deal was going to go through.
So did I.
And it completely flipped now. All it takes now, I think the European Commission is going to be voting on it. I think it's the 21st of May.
Yeah.
If they say no, and the CMA have said no.
Well, Europe's just a bad place to do business for games.
Right.
Shut up.
The FTC apparently have already filed whatever they want to call it to block the deal.
Yeah.
But their system works a little bit different where like it has to go through a federal judge or something like that. So it's not quite as a done deal over there as it is over here in the UK.
Yeah.
But if the European Union say it and the UK say it, then America's going to be like,
Maybe there's a point.
There's a point, I think, here. And then they won't back down. Then that's the three biggest places in the world.
You can't just do tech in America. It's just no...
Don't worry, but Ukraine let it through. Don't worry, but Brazil let it through. Don't worry, but the Sudan let it through. These places aren't going to matter for anything.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's a little bit of faith in humanity restored. That, like, whether or not the CMA is filled with people that know the industry, but whoever works there, I guess, actually on their game, that they managed to, like, figure out an industry and figure out all these implications. I mean, I might have to look up who's... I've got access to, like, special parts of LinkedIn because of my job. I could probably have a look. Might do that.
Let's see.
Yeah, I might find out because I'm genuinely curious because I really was not expecting it to go that way. It's
actually surprising to say the least.
I do think my memory, as you all know, boys, is like a sieve. But I seem to remember when you were like, I think they're just gonna grease some palms. I was like, oh yeah, that's 100% what's gonna happen.
It sounds so politics-like, right? I mean, these guys are guys in suits. You never...
Yeah, I felt like you looked into a crystal ball, effectively. Like, I agreed with you, but, like, you just laid it out. This is what's going to happen. I was totally with you. And in 12 months' time, they'd buy up all this stuff and then do what they've been doing. Nothing. Ruin a bunch of good stuff, take stuff away from Sony. So a bit of faith restored in humanity. That people... Also, a company that's job is to look at industries when, this is a serious industry.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't like... something nerds do on the side. This is like nearly as big as porn. Actually, I think we are as gaming as an industry. We
are as big as porn.
Conbro's officially as big as porn. That's going to be the next merch drive, boys.
There we go.
As big as porn.
Conbrosations as big as porn.
I have to do it like the Pornhub colours. Actually, they've got orange, don't they? That's perfect.
Oh shit! Perfect. We're already halfway there.
Yeah, buddy.
Okay. Our next topic.
Yeah.
As I mentioned before, PlayStation doing fantastically with consoles.
Yes.
6.3 million units moved in the last quarter alone, which is the highest number of consoles ever moved in any quarter. Unbelievable stats right there.
I'm trying to do maths in my head. So, average life cycle of a console 7 years ish.
Yeah.
That makes 28 quarters.
Mm.
And they did 110 million PS4s over the
110, 114, something like that.
yeah, over the full life cycle.
Yeah.
Which is, if that was like the average, doing that on a quarter, they're gonna hit 100 million well before.
It's something, isn't it? Because obviously this life cycle's been a bit strange with COVID and the restrictions to semiconductors and stuff like that. But you would think that there would be some evidence of slowing down, just because people money spending is not easy right now.
The UK's gone through like 4 back-to-back financial crises in the last. So like Brexit's 2017, and I think we had like 2018, 2019 when things were okay,
Right.
but Brexit was like, oh, we don't really know. Then COVID, then Ukraine.
And then just the new prime minister and fucking things up.
It's not been great here, and somehow we're buying up tons of stuff.
It's strange.
Except obviously we're not a good place for tech.
Oh, I mean,
Other
we
than
stifle innovation.
True. So stupid.
I love the balls that he can just say dumb shit like that, and then everyone looks at him and goes, "So you're just an idiot?" And then he's like, "Yeah,
Yeah, you just. I wish they would call it what it is. This is just propaganda.
Yeah.
To get your own way.
Anyway, selling so many consoles,
Yeah.
over 38 million units, which is fantastic. Something I wanted to talk about. We spoke about this like a week or two ago regarding the PlayStation VR 2 headset. There was one point that I didn't bring up, and I hated myself for not bringing it up.
I already hate you.
You should hate me even more.
I mean, also for this point as well. Additionally for this point, but
one reason why I think that maybe the PlayStation VR 2 headset isn't doing so well, reportedly, it was still a rumor, we don't have an official number, as well as it being expensive and all the things that we spoke about and things like that, it was only available on the PlayStation Direct store.
yeah,
A place that, if you don't know
most
about...
people don't know exists.
Exactly, that's what I was going to say.
Because it's a Sony own product, so they don't market it.
Right? And it's been...
It's not, I actually haven't seen it marketed on the PlayStation.
I've never seen it. Never seen it in my life. I only know about it because we're on the show. We know this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's only been open for what, like 6 months to a year, something like that. So not many people know about it. The advertisement for it may be interesting, but if you can't see it in a retail store, if you can't see it on your usual gaming websites, your Shop2s, your Game.co.uk's, your GameStops, your Best Buys and stuff like that, how do you know it's out? And I'm like...
You got to subscribe to Conbrosations. Guys, save a gamer, subscribe to Conbrosations.
Subscribe to Conbrosations. Anyway, they're now starting to release it in stores. They've put it up for pre-order in all the gaming stores. And I thought to myself, do you know what? I'm glad that they've done that, because that would give us a more accurate representation of what the demand is. I'm sure there's a ton of people that just didn't know PlayStation VR 2 was out. They'd seen some reviews, some things pop
up.
Heard
about it, but
and they were like, cool, that's probably coming out soon. I'll see it when I'm in the next shopping mall next year, or when I'm on the computer, I'll see like an advert for something, or whatever it might be. I'll get an email from Game. And then just crickets, nothing. So I'll be interested to see in like 6 months' time when we finally find out, like, you know, once it's out, how many it's sold and stuff like that. But,
I think you're right. Yeah. It's a pinch of salt number, because it's an incredible product that wasn't marketed at all.
Yeah. Typical PlayStation fashion.
How do they get it so right with so many things, and then it's either fully right or fully wrong? There's no in between.
No.
I've never seen a product they didn't do either great or poorly.
No.
Or they do a good product and then do one thing about it really, really poorly. Like the frickin' PS Plus, you know, the retro gaming thing with it came out on PS3, so technically it was a retro game sort of thing.
PlayStation Plus Premium and Extra and stuff like that.
Good idea, let's execute it really well, and then, let's just make this one really stupid thing. Let's just ruin it.
So dumb. Anyway, it's coming to retail stores. If anyone is interested, I think all of us guys here know about know about the headset and would have bought it if we wanted it in those things. As said, I'm bummed because it's not that it's a bad product.
Yeah. And
I do think it's fairly priced, especially considering like economics and what you get in the box. You get those controllers with them, whereas in the previous one you didn't. And if you factor those in, it's about the same price.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that people just don't have money. And the people that probably do have money aren't the ones looking for... do PlayStation have their own store? I wonder. What would I even Google search for that to go and get it? They need it to be marketed to them. They need it to be pushed into their faces, and then maybe they'll buy it. So, yeah, there's that.
You know what you do with your consoles? This is also one of your consoles.
Yes. It's so strange that they did that. Maybe it was that... There's only one thing I can think reason why they probably did this was that maybe the headset actually was really, really expensive to make. And the margin was really, really, really small. And they thought if they sell it direct from their own website, then they can get rid of all the cost of like shipping to the stores and whatever their cut is and stuff like that. And unfortunately it didn't work out. They don't have that cachet yet in their stores to sell them from there directly. Any poop.
Yeah, market your stuff, Sony. What the frick?
Do something. All right, let's move it over to our bros, who wrote in to our Discord server, just like you guys can, by clicking the link in the description. Let's get over to Tailgate, who says, I'm personally so drained when it comes to the news regarding the Activision acquisition. I won't care if it gets approved or not. I just want this whole saga to be over. Unfortunately, this thing being blocked means that it's probably going to get appealed by Microsoft, which means that it's probably going to go on for a whole nother year, and then it's going to get pushed back to the CMA, and the CMA have to do another investigation after it if the appeal gets approved. So
you're not wrong.
That's how that's going to work.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
The only thing you can hope for is that the appeal gets thrown out as well, and then maybe it will end there. Maybe it will just end there.
Please just let me die.
Just let me die, damn it. But he asked the question, what was it like... Oh, okay, so he asked me a question, but we'll talk about that later. What are the cancelled games that you guys are sad that never got made? For me, games on the first list are Star Wars 1313, a Boba Fett origin story game. That was apparently that sounds really cool. Star Wars Project Ragtag.
Ouch.
He sent me a video, by the way. I'll send it to you as well so you can watch it. An interview with two of the developers that were on the Ragtag team, working next to Amy, and just talking about how fucking awesome it was. Talking about how great Amy was, how she was. There was a lot of pressure on her because she was like pretty much doing everything there, and she was still a consummate professional, just like rock solid, no nothing. I was like, sounds amazing. Anyway, I'll send it to you as well. Prey 2, not the one made by Arcane, and finally Legacy of Kain, Dead Son, a planned series reboot. When Square Enix held the rights to the franchise, there would have been a PS4 launch title in its final form. Gameplay of it has surfaced online, and even though it didn't have many thematic similarities
it was
to
very
older
different
games, it still looked like a cool game in general.
Yeah, me and Tailgate have spoken about that that whole Legacy of Kain series and Soul Reaver and stuff quite a bit. It's damn what good series of games. I sent you that post about Battlefront 3 being all but complete.
Oh my god, that pissed me off so much.
I physically ruined my day. It made me angry, and then I sent it to Mario.
just to be like, hey Mario, I want to ruin your day.
I literally said that in the tweet.
Did it say 99% done?
Yeah.
Like the dev said apparently that Battlefront 3 was 99% done before it was canned.
I mean, pain.
This was deep in the time that, and this was something that I spoke to the Respawn devs about. I was like, this was in the time when EA didn't believe in single player games, and I said to them, like, you guys probably saved single player games for EA.
Yeah.
Because before that, they were ready to throw in the towel, and you guys made such a good game that it was like.
Also, out of nowhere, like, I don't think Respawn had any right to make a single player game that good. Respawn, the guys that made COD, who went on to make Apex, basically Space COD, had no right to make a game with a story that good, and despite all the bugs that I suffered, a game that fun to play. don't love the memory mechanic, but other than that, you know, like it's not perfect, but like as a first, like, oh hey, let's give it a shot to making an RPG. Like, nailed it.
Yeah, they really did.
Halo, I think Halo 4 would have been cool.
If only they made another Halo, right?
So that's more of a cancelled series of games, but
I think Ragtag is always going to sit with me as that really bitter one.
I am fully with you there.
I can't get over that. I can't get over that because they released that sizzle sort of like video of them like so cool in their LA offices doing cool work, and they've got their little Star Wars figurines everywhere, and then they show that little snippet of him it's like 6 seconds long walking out of a bar, and it looks so beautiful on like a Tatooine, and they're like, oh, this looks so good.
I know precisely when I see it.
Oh god. Anyway, he asked a couple of questions for me directly. He says, what was it like to get to play the upcoming Star Wars game early? Must have felt pretty cool. It really did feel pretty cool. It felt pretty awesome, and you guys will know there's a big boss guy that is in the trailer, so it's not like I think it's not a hidden one, it's a very obvious one, but I still won't say it. Playing that and knowing that I was one of the first people in the world to beat that boss was a pretty cool feeling right there. And
I'm almost certain I can guess who it. I'm not going to say it in case.
Do you want to text me?
Yes.
Text me. Get a live reaction right here. No.
Okay. Good to know. Ooh.
And it was like a Souls fight almost, and the devs were watching me and watching me. I failed about 20 times, and then when I did beat it, they were like, "Hey!"
Did you tell them about the 20 glitches that you had?
Do you know what,
guys?
The game is kind of buggy.
Well, I mean,
it's Respawn. They didn't move too far from Fallen Order. It's a little bit better. That's about it. Anyway, he also asked another Respawn related question. While you were there with the devs, did you ask them if they had learned any lessons from Star Wars games that got cancelled, while they developed Fallen Order and Survivor? I only asked them if they learned anything from Fallen Order to Survivor, and they said obviously they'd learned tons of new things. There's one thing is that the holo map that you had in Fallen Order, they obviously learned that was pretty hard to navigate.
It was not good.
Yes.
I want to be kind because I actually really enjoyed the game for its gameplay. Again, Horizon Zero Dawn. You guys have heard me complain about it all the time. What you haven't heard me complain about is that it's not a good game. It's a great game to play.
Yeah.
That actually ruined my game experience multiple times because I'm one of those guys that, you know me, I'm not going to go collecting stuff, but I'm going to go investigating everything. The
layers, the way things like overlapped on top of each other. Anyway, they greatly improved it in this one, so they learned from that one.
I'm really happy to hear that. I'm actually genuinely happy to hear that.
As for cancelled games, no, I didn't ask them anything about that. But they are super nerds, and they are aware of all the other types of games. They were talking a lot about like the High Republic era and stuff like that. Which is that part of what Old Republic? No, Knights of the Old Republic. That's a different era. Yeah, obviously High Republic. So anyway, they're really big nerds over there, so they would know about all the other games. I didn't ask them.
One of the things that I love about Fallen Order and Survivor is that it's proof. You don't need any big names. We can do a whole new... The universe is enough, which gives us a lot of really interesting stuff with some of the OG shit. Like, we could do a Revan game. Yeah. We could reboot... what's the thing with Starkiller?
Force Unleashed.
There you go. I don't know why I had a problem with that. We could just remaster that or redo it, right? Like, we don't... I know Vader's in that. Relax. But, like, you don't need to have these things in there. You can make awesome villains. You can make awesome protagonists, tell awesome stories in a universe with space wizards with laser swords. Yeah. That's your big thing. Space wizards, laser swords. And you don't even need those. I would do, mercenary guy with a jetpack. Boom. That's a game. You probably chuck in, like, a laser sword wielding wizard as a... whether he's a Sith or a Jedi, it doesn't matter. He's a boss fight. But like, the world is cool enough. The universe is cool enough. Let's not spend all of it on desert planets, though. Please God.
Sand everywhere. That's the best place. Do you know what? Something that just reminded me. When we was talking to them about. I said like Star Wars is such a good IP that even though like I love the trilogies, I love the original sequels, original trilogy and stuff like that. There's so much you can do as well just outside of the Skywalker family, and they're like, yeah, obviously this is what we love and stuff like that. I was like, perfect. And I don't know why this made me think of it, because I was so wanting to impress them. When I went to the bathroom and I washed my hands, I splashed a little bit of water on the mirror, and I was like, oh dear God, they're gonna hate me. I'm gonna have to clean that up. And I was cleaning up the mirror when I was in there.
That's so you, by the way. That
I've made a mess. No,
they're gonna think poorly of me.
Multiple devs use this toilet all the time. They're going to think it's me. I did it. They're going to know, and they're not going to invite me ever back again, which is probably going to be unlikely anyway.
Right. What if they won't have me back?
Who knows? I might win another competition. They'll be like, wait, you're that fucker that wet our mirror.
7.5 years ago, you left upwards of 3 water splotches on our mirror. Those dried, and we never bothered to clean them off. So come and look. We took the mirror off that wall and brought it with us as a constant reminder of how toxic British people can be.
Toxic British gamers. You guys, no wonder why you guys are stifling innovation over there. Gosh, so fun. BS Bro 2 writes in and he says, first, happy black screen anniversary. It was the 28th of April that we first got our black screen. Hey! A memorable moment in Conbro's history.
Well done, us.
There are some new people that are like, what the fuck are you talking
From
about?
now on, just black screen.
Cancelled.
The really annoying thing is that has one of our highest watch times. I hate it.
They were like, I'm sticking through it. I'm invested in this black screen. How long does it go? Cancelled games that I'm sad I never got made. The Mandalorian game and Prototype 3. Also, PlayStation has apparently cancelled a lot of games. Yeah, apparently they have. But who knows whether or not they're anything at the point that they cancel them. Yeah. They don't cancel them anywhere close to the end. They're just like right at the beginning. They're like,
yeah, they don't do a 99%.
Right. Like Days Gone 2 apparently was pitched to them. But that was just the idea was pitched.
It was pitched.
That's it.
Like, it got node. Obviously, they have assets that can be reused. But, like, no work had really started on it. So
I feel like the deal with will end with Xbox getting Activision, not gonna lie, because they'll definitely spend the money to make a 5-year deal with other cloud games. Like I said, now that you know a bit extra into the whole reason with the cloud thing, let me know what you think now. First, apologies in advance. I'm going to go on a Sony pony rant mode here for a second later, so you don't have to read it if you don't want to. I don't know. I think I should read it. It's not that long.
Yeah.
Xbox fanboys, the ones which with social media have always been showing the Activision Blizzard shoving the Activision deal in my face now for months. On Twitter, it's been a whole day of them getting bullied by Sony ponies, and my God, it feels so good to see them cry again on Twitter Spaces. It's kind of mean, but it's their own fault.
Do you know what? No, they deserve it.
It's their own fault.
They deserve it.
If they had just sat back and then seen what happens, then they wouldn't have the egg on their face.
They deserve it, because if it was us on the other side, and like Sony was going to pick something up, and we would have heard, I can see how this could not be a good thing. If people had good answers, good points, and also you and me would be saying, it's a really interesting deal. I wonder what they'll do with XYZ. These guys are like, fuck you, we're getting COD, you're getting nothing.
This is the thing that happened to me, because when the deal went through, so before we got any information about the deal, it seemed to be the air amongst the Xbox fans were like, yes, we're gonna get this so we can take it away from PlayStation.
Right.
And then when it didn't go through, they were like, they should just close up shop in the UK, so UK gamers can't get the thing, so we can have this deal, so we can take it away from PlayStation still. And I was like, That's so stupid. So you're not actually about gaming then. You're just about taking things away from people. And then what was hilarious was that's essentially what Brad Smith, the Microsoft guy, said. It's like, well, maybe we can't do business in the UK. So it's not about gamers then. It's about just taking shit away from people.
And the thing is, they have this
Surely
mindset
you should be fighting tooth and nail to do the business
to
so
stay
they
here
can, so they
for
can still have the
for the
games.
millions of pounds that are spent on your products all the time.
And if you are, like, we're all about so people can have what they want, so everyone can play.
We're not
It's not about that anymore.
We all play, we all win, and
Right.
we're not taking anything away from gamers. But again, these guys, Xbox to the Xbots, don't understand that Sony didn't take anything away from you. They made stuff for their customers. That's not the same as taking something away from you, and not letting it come to every other platform is still not the same as taking it away from you.
Yeah.
Those are different things.
Yeah.
Frickin' Xbox.
He does continue to say the denial of the deal has made a lot of memes, which are hilarious. Particular ones are Jim Ryan and Pornhub website titled "Old Man Fucks Entire Corporation."
That's frickin' brilliant.
Oh God. Yeah, thank you very much for writing that. He does ask something as well. Personally, he goes, "I gotta ask, what were your guys'
Yeah.
What were your guys' top 3 moments from America? By guys, I mean Eddie and his family. Sorry, Sheps.
Not really.
Not really. I'm sure it's the Disneyland rides and Respawn talk, but other moments you haven't mentioned yet, stuck in your for your journey.
I mean, I would presume not getting shot and killed.
A highlight, surviving.
Right.
Um,
Just like the game.
exactly, Survivor. I'm
Are you
the
Cal
Jedi
Kestis?
Survivor. Hiring the Mustang was fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
Just the sound of it and going down the road. There was a couple times where I had to keep the roof up because Isla was in the back and she was just getting pummeled by the air. So I was like, oh shit. I knew it was a mistake having children. Why did I do it?
Right? You've ruined this moment for me, little girl.
But driving down like that Santa Monica coast with the beautiful wide roads they've got, and every now and again looking at the pedal and just it's fantastic. Also, the food. Oh my god! The first day that I got there, I got Mexican the first 2 days for like lunch, and the best food I've ever tasted.
I don't understand why I don't like Mexicans out there. I want some of them over here.
Right, I want these Mexicans over here because they make great shit. Like the first place I went to, it looked like it was a food truck, but it looked like it was a permanent establishment.
Right, with you.
And what was funny was I go up to the window, and the guy speaks in Mexican, Spanish. What did they speak?
Spanish.
Spanish.
Yeah.
I thought so. And I'm gonna.
You had me doubting there though, because you said it like he speaks in Mexican. I'm like, that sounds like what they would speak in Mexico.
Y Mexicana, and he says something in Spanish, and I'm just gonna butcher it just for the sake of it. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he's like pointing over here, so I go to another window, and I go to that guy, and he speaks maybe 2 more words of English than that other guy did. And I'm like, I've come all the way from London, recommend me something. And he's like, see? I'm like, did you understand me? I don't know.
Get me what's good, G.
But then he goes and says something on the menu. He's like, and I was like, I'll have it. You must know better than me what's going to be good in here. And he gave it to me, and it was the best fucking food I ever had.
What was it?
It was almost like a large bap, right?
Yeah.
3 different types of meat in there, from what I could see.
Yeah.
Some roasted vegetables in there,
Yeah.
and there was some hot sauces on the side, and I was just like,
You gotta be careful though, because Mexicans spice food like.
there was 3 hot
yeah,
sauces.
yeah.
2 of them were great. Anyway, the food was fantastic. I did, despite my feelings towards WB, love the WB tour because just getting to see the physical suits that Henry Cavill wore,
We've always
Ben
said-
Affleck, Patterson,
Yeah.
and seeing how short Zoe Kravitz is in comparison to
Oh really?
she's a midget, bruv.
How big are the real Superman and Batman suits?
Do you know what? Batman suit? Huge.
Yeah.
Batman suit, the fucking Ben Affleck suit.
He's a tank.
Henry Cavill, huge as well, but not as big as you think. I was looking, I was
think
like,
the suit is very stretchy. That's
That's
always been
probably
my
what it
impression.
is, because you got to fit a guy under there, and they also put muscle padding under there as well, so it can keep a good look.
To get the
Curves.
without. This is one of those dumb things. So like, obviously, because I did gay talk here, and I do mean that in the most homosexual way possible. Bodybuilding, right? It's 100% you go to the gym for other dudes' attention.
Yes.
Is lighting is like the key thing, but you don't get to control that on a if you're outside at all. And also, no one's saying Henry Cavill's not in shape. You see him topless plenty of times.
Yeah.
But you need the padding for accents so that the light can catch it, so you can see it. Yeah. It's like a visual trick. But I did always think that suit was going to be tighter and stretch to fit him, and Affleck's suit is like a glove, like as in it fits exactly.
Yeah. His suit was more like a fabric-y suit anyway, so it's that was what was cool about that one. But all of the suits were fantastic. It was quite cool to see the Man of Steel suit versus the Justice League suit, for example. And then it was really nice to see the Batman suit up close as well. I was like looking in proper detail at the Bat logo with the gun thing. I was like, oh, look at that.
That is cool, isn't it?
Something you guys maybe some of you guys are super nerds and you've seen detailed shots of it. But the inside of first of all, the car, the Batman's car, wider than any road in America. It is super wide.
Yeah.
I'm talking like from the side of this room, maybe up to where my keyboard
wider
is.
than a road in America, so
And wider than American roads. I was like, you're gonna stand out a little bit, Batman. I don't know how you're doing this. I mean, to be fair, every Bat vehicle has stood out.
it's not really there for stealth.
Do you know what?
And I love that they tried to
blending
make
it.
the Tumbler stealthy. It gave it like a stealth mode. Like
They're like, we'll pay him matte black. It's okay. No, it's not reflective.
he'll be able to turn the lights off if he's ever being chased by like helicopters
I do love that scene in the Dark
over
Knight.
roofs.
He's like, he turns off the lights, stealth mode, so maybe it's quieter. It's still a tank.
It's like imagine you have a bus that's painted black and you're like, well, I'm just gonna turn it off. It's still a bus.
Anyway, this thing is huge, but also you wouldn't be able to drive that car. The engine is the size of the car.
Yeah, I love those.
And it's
like a rally truck,
right
isn't it?
behind his head. Huge turbos. And the passenger seat is like, basically there's an assortment of like weapons there.
Yeah.
And it looks like the date and time panel from the Back to the Future.
Yeah.
I don't know what's supposed to be displaying, but that's what it's got there. And as I said, like right behind him, no like plexiglass even to dampen the sound just a little bit. I'm like, I don't know how you do it, Batman.
I love the idea of like another take of it, and it's like he gets out, Penguin's out, like, you caught me. Huh?
Huh?
I didn't. Are you speaking?
La rata is what?
Did you say stool pigeon in Spanish? I saw it. We'll get off Batman and the superhero talk in a minute. I saw a thing saying this is the real reason why they can use Batfleck in the Batman, and he's doing an interview in like fluent Spanish.
Right.
But I mean,
yeah.
when like you've been with J-Lo. Is it J-Lo?
Yeah, J-Lo.
Yeah, like you're gonna pick up a couple of things, aren't you?
Yeah. Ay, papi, supposed to world. Anyway, that was really cool. And and I went on the last day. I went to a comic book store, like a proper American comic book store. And you know what? The day before I went there, I found them on Instagram. Sorry, the day after I found them on Instagram.
Yeah.
But the day before, Keanu Reeves was in there doing some signings and shit like that. I was like,
Whole trip ruined, mate. Now I'm glad I didn't come.
now you're glad. There you go. Anyway, that was a couple of the cool things that I did there.
Text Keanu, not text him. Tweet him, and be like, Keanu, look, I've got a blue check, so I'm cool.
Big deal. I've also got many leather-bound books. My house smells of mahogany. That will never not be funny.
It's always going to be good.
Do you want to read the last comment?
Yeah, buddy.
From Alpha
Alpha Aquila, Alan Wake, BS Bro 1 says, Happy Black Screen Anniversary.
Hey!
So funnily enough, this was going to be my bit for like big news events. Was going to be to like take the wind out of your sails for going to America and playing stuff early. was this week in episode 2 of Has It Released Yet? No, Star Trek Resurgence hasn't released yet, but it did get a release date tweet.
Hey! Which they'll obviously ignore and then just continue on going.
He says, but, and it's a juicy but. I like it, I can't lie. We have a release date. The one tricky, the one they quickly took away from us last month, mistakenly, told us early, it will be releasing on the 23rd of May.
Right.
Apparently.
And you believe them. You believe them, right?
Yeah, I mean, this guy's a mug.
I was going to say, you also believe the Tooth Fairy.
This guy ranks Deep Space Nine too high on his Star Trek list. And that's all you need to know about.
That's all you need to know. I mean, how much better does he have it than...
Use your words, Ed.
There was a joke in, like, The Big Bang Theory. And it was like...
I mean, you'd hope at least one.
Hopefully, right? And it's like something 2. I don't know what it was. Like Star Trek 2 or whatever it might be. And they were like, how is Deep Space Nine better than so and 2? Well, simple subtraction will tell you that it's 7 better than thing. I was like, I was going to make that joke. But I forgot half of the joke. So it's no longer funny.
Sounds like it was a 7 of 9 joke. Do you know Voyager?
I know 7 of 9.
Yeah, you do.
From
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't?
It's from, like, boyhood awakening moments. Anyway, The Last Case of Benedict Fox released on Thursday. I don't know what that means, man.
Last Case of Benedict Fox. No, wait, hold on. No. I remember that. I remember that game being shown off somewhere. I think we saw it and we thought it looked interesting, but I don't remember it enough to know.
I was going to say Google it. You know,
yeah,
your
sure.
freaking
Pull
thing.
up my laptop. 1 second.
Let me Google it. Talk amongst yourselves,
Yeah,
boys.
God,
The Last Case of Benedict Fox. I don't know why that was in a little... Oh man, this does ring a bell. Talk amongst yourselves. We'll get there.
Chill out, guys.
Oh god, is a YouTube ad? Oh, it's unskippable. Never mind. Sorry, Alpha.
Sorry, it's not getting done.
I refuse to sit through an unskippable ad. And of course, the big one, Star Wars 2, Electric Jedi Boogaloo, released on April 28th. So that's when the cool people will be playing it for the very first time. Notice that doesn't include Eddie. Thank you for rubbing it in my face, because you will have already played it. You've already played it. As I know, people who are fans of both Star Trek and Star Wars are having a fantastic year. I mean, all I'm going to say is Star Trek fan people mutually exclusive. How was life in the US, Ed?
As I said, really, really, really good. I don't think it's a place I could live in. Obviously, LA is not a place you do want to live in.
You don't want to live in LA.
But I will say,
you and
like...
me could not live in LA. We live in London. Yeah.
I really had... This is the problem, that I rarely had many interaction with American people out there. The only interactions I ever had were with Uber drivers or the people at the hotels.
Yeah.
And they're just like... supposed to be
they're
nice to
hired
you
guns, aren't they? Their job is to be nice to you.
I did have one ridiculous Uber driver. He was in a Tesla, and he was playing some ridiculous music it's one of those musics that don't have a beat.
Oh, I know what you mean.
And I was like,
I instantly know what you're talking about.
Exactly. Yeah. I was like, I was gonna tell him to turn it the fuck off. Yeah. But the trip was literally 2 minutes. However, he for some reason couldn't make left turns. Like, he was scared. I don't know what his deal was. So when he came up to a left turn, I was like, cool, I can see the hotel from here. Right turn. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing over there? And he went round, and then he went round another place to do another right turn, to do another right turn.
So, like, he took 3 rights to get around far enough.
So many. And the worst part is that we was at the top of where, like, Hollywood is, and then when you go higher, it's those windy roads that goes up to the Hollywood hills and stuff like that. And I was like, so you're going to go up this entire hill so you can make a right turn to come all the way back down, and then what? You're going to have to make a left turn eventually, because otherwise you're going to have to make another right turn, then go right back round.
Yeah.
Eventually, he picked up the fucking courage after 15 minutes of driving to do a 2-minute trip to make a left turn. And I was like, anyway.
That's really frustrating. He also asked what surprised you the most. Not getting shot. Big surprise.
Big surprise. Okay. Turning right on a red signal.
Sick, innit?
Sick idea. However, it's one of those things that is based on common sense.
Yeah.
Because it's not just turn.
No,
It's wait and see if there's a car turning.
Yeah.
But it alleviates stress. It alleviates like pressure on like traffic and stuff like that. And after I got the hang of it, I was like, so I'm just allowed to go here.
Sick in it.
Well, there's no point in me waiting. All right, I'll just go. And I was like, this is a fucking good idea.
Yeah.
And it was surprising that good thing came from America because they're scared of roundabouts over there.
Yeah.
They're scared of everything else that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, they invented, I think this is just a California thing. They invented a carpool lane.
What does that mean?
So it's a lane specifically for if you have more than one person in your car. They call it a high occupancy vehicle. If you've got more than one person in your car, you're allowed to use a dedicated
Two people's
lane.
high occupancy.
Exactly. So what it is that I asked an Uber driver, I was like, what the fuck? How is it such a big problem in California?
How the fuck is that enforced?
Right. And well, apparently it's a big thing as well. And it's a fine of $341. It says it on the sign next to it. It's like, if we say 340, they'll think we're just joking. So we'll put $341. Don't know why.
That one makes all the difference in it.
And I was like, is it such a big problem in California that people are driving by themselves that they wanted to come up with a reason to make a carpool lane? And they go, basically, yeah. In California, in the LA area, if you have a driver's license, you have a car. So if you have 5 people in a house, you have 5 cars in that house. And I was like,
that's a bit much.
I was like, that's a bit. And I asked the guy Marvin who won the saber hunt thing. He's like, I've got 12 people in my family. Guess how many cars we've got? 12. I was like, how do you find the parking?
No. All that insurance.
Right.
Like, no.
I was like, and the guy Uber driver kind of explained to me, he was like,
in fair, America's based on roads. Like, you couldn't get around on buses. And
that's what he said. It was like, we don't have like a subway system here in LA. We don't have good buses, and your friend is likely to live a good number of miles away from you because everything's so spread out. You're gonna need a car to get to them. And I was like, okay, it makes a bit of sense. That's why I invented this over here. Luckily, I had Adriana and Isla always in the car, so I was like banging it down the thing.
Yeah, buddy.
But it was always in the inside lane, so I had to like filter every single time I wanted to get anyway.
How did you find driving on the other side of the road? It's not too bad.
The first time I got out on the road, I almost wrecked the car.
Yeah, rough, innit?
I was like, my brain has 17 years of driving on this side of the lane.
Yeah.
So I tried to be on that side and half of my car's on the other side. But as soon as I got that, I was like, I like it.
Yeah.
Big, wide
It's
lanes. Fine. Everyone's going nice speed.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. One final thing. He says, I beat Riddler again in Batman Arkham Knight. Guilty pleasure. Thanks for the update.
There we go. Thank you so much. That's all we've got time to talk about, I think. We've been talking for a good while. Nice 2-hour podcast.
There is one thing we definitely didn't forget. True Gamers.
Oh, I didn't forget them. I mean,
I know you didn't forget them.
How would I pull them up on my phone?
How's that download doing? Upload.
Still going. Still going. It's a big file.
Great.
Yeah, I can't pull them up on here.
And I can't exactly ask you for the... In fact, maybe I have it... I must have the logins.
See.
Hold on. Log in.
Yeah,
Please, God.
I can't do it over here.
I don't have
sorry,
it.
guys.
I don't have it.
Thank you to our true gamers who support us over at patreon.com/Conbrosations. You great people. The true gamers are our list as follows.
You know who you are.
Exactly. You know who you are.
And you don't need to be told. That's an inside joke. If you don't, if you think you do need to be told, you're obviously not part of the exclusive list who get this podcast a day early. You don't have to wait around like the peasants on YouTube. We need to get this list up for the Conbros podcast desperately.
Thank you so much.
Look what happens. You give him one good thing and he slips.
You really shouldn't give me anything. I'm dying. I've been suffering a lot from the jet lag basically, and I don't know.
Jet lag is really rough.
It's bad. It's bad.
Jet lag. Oh hey, have you slept at all?
Yes, but at really stupid, inconvenient times. Like I fell asleep at 7 o'clock yesterday.
AM or PM?
PM.
Okay, that's a bad time to sleep.
And then I woke up at it was funny. I was like, I've probably woken up if I had to guess, I'd say it's like 4 a.m. and
Yeah.
I can stomach the last like couple hours until I have to go to work and whatnot. Pick up
11.
my phone 11:59. I'm like, fuck,
Called
it's
it.
not even the next day yet.
But you could have sent your boy a text because guess who's always awake?
And I took that as the time. I was like, well, I guess I'll play some Jedi Survivor then.
This is so as someone who deals with insomnia, that is the worst possible thing you can do.
I know.
Because the thing is, your options are be bored and not sleep, but maybe, hopefully, your brain starts to figure out it's still nighttime, but you're bored and you're like wriggling around and.
I'm sure other people have this as well, but when I lay in bed and I'm not sleeping, for 5 minutes, my body starts to hurt. I can't stand it.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And it's funny because, I'm very good at falling asleep.
Yeah.
If I miss that window, I get those body aches and then I can't sleep.
Yeah.
So it's such a hit and miss situation. Most of the times I'm hitting, but if I do that, where I've just woken up after like a good solid like 5 hours of sleep, I'm not going to fall asleep again. So I just like, fuck it. I'm fucked. I'm going downstairs. I'm going.
But not the way to do it. But again, like I say, your options are be bored stiff, but maybe, hopefully, your brain figures it out.
Yeah.
Or don't be bored. You still be awake, but you get to not be bored.
Enjoy my fucking self.
But I mean, yeah, it's really no fun.
It's a guaranteed way to continue fucking with your sleep.
Yeah. At best, although you could try, and I'm not saying it works, but you could try double fucking your sleep.
Oh, okay, so.
Where you just make it worse and worse to the point that you reset again. Do you know what I mean?
I tried that on the second day or something like that. It didn't work out.
Not as easy as it sounds, is it?
It's one of those rare occasions. I rarely push myself to the point where I'm about to fall asleep,
Yeah.
like right in front of something. I usually like that feeling when I'm like,
Oh
and
yeah.
I
Oh,
do
you want
good
the sleep to, it's gonna bang.
But this is the weird way that my body works. My body works on 100% throttle until the battery runs out. And I was like
The way you treat your phone,
basically,
as if the battery's full until it
low
turns
power
off.
mode. Yours is probably on at 98%. So when I was I was pushing myself.
I'll have you know, it is on.
97%, and he's on low power mode. What is high power mode for you?
Charge.
When it's directly in the mains. I pushed myself like that on that day to try and get there, and then at I think it was like 3 p.m. I was like,
Yeah.
almost fell apart.
I'll tell you, if you're gonna just focus sleep, when you're supposed to be waking up is the best time to be getting to sleep. You get such good sleep from 7 a.m. to like 11, 12.
The quality forbidden sleep.
It is the best sleep that can be had. But it's in the worst possible time.
Anyway.
Yep.
All right, man. That was a good True Gamer episode.
Yep.
Let us know in the comment section how you felt. And if you have any comments you want to talk about the CMA issue, if you have any other insights, if you have any insights on gaming, how you're doing with Jedi Survivor, feel free to do that. I'm uploading right now. I'm doing a Let's Play for Jedi Survivor on the channel. There is a bit of a weird thing. There's a
Which
bug.
channel?
I'm putting it on SuperTube 80 Plays. There's a bug right now with like the frame rate issue and stuff like that, which is causing my
In
capture
Jedi
card.
Survivor or in...
Jedi Survivor.
Yeah.
Which is causing my capture card to have these little blinks every now and again of like a black screen.
Yeah.
It's just for a second, but it's when the frame rate gets really too choppy and then the card just doesn't understand what's going on. I hope they fix that soon because I don't want to have too many of those little bits going on.
How is that to play?
It's okay to play.
Yeah.
I'm not so fussed too much on the frame rate
I'm
sometimes.
Mr. FPS, so...
I mean, it is higher FPS than 30, but when it does bog down a little bit, I'm not crying about it.
Okay.
But I can see how some people would be really bothered by it.
Yeah.
I'm not excusing what's going on by any way. Just so you guys know, it should really be perfect. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Anyway, catch you guys all in the next one. Thank you all for tuning in, and
Look forward to a Conbrosations podcast coming out for the unwashed general disgusting masses.
yes.
If you want to stop being one of those peasants, head over to patreon.com/conversations for as little as $1 a month.
Exactly. See you later, boys.
See you in the next one. What was that supposed to be?
I'm falling.
It looks like you're doing a crap bullet time.
It does, doesn't it? Like a really
I know what
shit-
that is. I hate it. And you. You're lucky you had Isla.